right, welcome everyone. We are here this evening and we are live on Facebook. And I want to welcome our very, very special guest here this evening. We have Mr. Francesco Argento. Now, Francesco is the founder and the CEO of EzySpark. Uh, EzySpark is actually Southeast Asia's first online marketplace for corporate training. And EzySpark operates a revolutionary platform that promotes transparency and efficiency, simplifying the search for quality training and trainers. Francesco is an enthusiastic, forward looking entrepreneur, technopreneur, and is extremely passionate about learning and technology. He thrives on challenges and has been highly involved in the industry since his arrival in Malaysia 10 years ago. Same as me, Francesco, 10 years ago. He was also responsible for the setting up of the pioneer team for Blue Ocean Leadership for UCSI and has offered his consultancy expertise to various local corporations during this time. And he's also backed by Sunway Group and Nexia Angels, and EzySpark has over 1,000 training programs and a growing pool of independent trainers across the region. So we want to give you a warm welcome, Francesco. We're going
Buenos
to give you a
dias,
virtual
Francesco.
hand.
Thanks so
Awesome,
much.
D. We got you here as well.
Yep.
And we deeply appreciate the time that you're carving out of your busy schedule, and we wanna welcome you here. And so let's get right into it, Francesco. So, how did you decide to start EzySpark, and what's the driving concept behind it?
First of all, thank you very much, Chris, for the invite. And I think it's very interesting to be here with you guys and share some
Awesome.
of our
Thank you
experience.
for being here. It's our pleasure, Francesco.
So we can have some fun also.
Yeah.
So, I started in the EzySpark started in 2017. But I started conceptualizing in 2016, and at that time I was still working for UCSI. So I learned a lot about the industry of training and consulting, working for UCSI and setting up the leadership center for Blue Ocean Leadership at the time. And then because apart from Blue Ocean Leadership, I was also in touch with a lot of HR professionals and a lot of trainers. I realized few of the shortcoming of the industry. I feel like there is a lot of there was a lot of trainers in the industry and a lot of training providers also, and so it's an industry that has a lot to offer, but in terms of identifying the right trainer for the right program or the right needs of the company wasn't that easy, and still it isn't, right? So I hope with EzySpark is a little bit easier, but the concept behind EzySpark was to create a platform that allows HR professional, but also senior leader, they are looking for specific to close specific skill gaps, to essentially use the platform to identify through a process of bidding the right trainers and the right training program. So instead of working with a specific training program that has a few trainers under their wing, now the HR or the senior leader can access to, for now, over 300 trainers, hopefully soon over 1,000 across the region. Trainer, the professionals, experts that can cover and help them to close specific skills gap. So that was the concept, and I think mostly because I also start to talk with with professionals, and I noticed the way they were usually finding trainers. So even myself, working for a consulting and training company at the time, we were looking, for example, for sales trainer. Not I didn't know you that time, Chris. So we were looking for sales trainer, and I didn't know where to look, for one of our clients. And so the idea was, if I'm having issue and I'm one of the consultant and training provider, I'm sure other professionals in the industry will have the same problem.
Right.
So that allowed me to start conversation and identify that was one of the problem. how to identify good quality trainer in the industry based on your needs, essentially, in an easy way.
Awesome.
Okay.
Hey, Francesco, how did you end up in China?
Not China, Asia.
Asia. Sorry, I've been in
Asia.
China too long.
Never
Yeah,
been in
These
China.
these been in China for 20 years. We're
yeah,
trying to get his
Oh.
brain back to
yeah.
fusion.
Exactly. Yeah, sorry
No,
about
are you
that.
still based in China,
No,
or
I'm in KL now.
oh, you're back in KL? Okay. No,
But
I've never been to China, although
yeah,
I would love to. I've
yeah.
been to Hong Kong,
Mm-hmm.
but never, in Shanghai or other places. Well, I came in Malaysia in 2010, so actually it's been 11 years right now.
11 years, yeah.
Yeah, and it was by chance, not by chance actually. I was working the time I was finishing my study in Italy.
Okay.
And I come from a small town in south of Italy, in Sicily, but I studied in Palermo. And then from then, I applied for an internship with the Italian embassy. And
Oh,
since
okay.
I got to know a Malaysian from KK, I was living with him in UK for a couple of months. And then I asked him, how is it, Malaysia? It's a nice place because I need to apply it. I don't know, which city to choose since I can choose the whole world.
Right.
And
Right.
he talked good about Malaysia, and then it made me curious. So I went to check it out, and it looks very nice. At the time, after internship, I said, why not, and I wanted to go far away possible, to have some good culture shock. So I thought this is going to be a good opportunity for me. So I just applied. So I came actually under the embassy, the time for the commercial office for 3 months.
Mhm.
And 3 months became first 3 years and now 11 years.
Wow.
Wow.
So,
What a journey.
Yeah.
So you're actually Sicilian.
Yes, I'm Sicilian. Although you
Okay.
guys have been hearing very bad stuff about Sicily, there are also
Uh,
good things.
No. We never heard anything bad. I'm sorry. We
I,
never said anything bad.
No,
I
don't
love
worry.
making
That is
pizza.
only in Hollywood, Chris. Don't worry.
Yeah.
That don't exist.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this question. You set up EzySpark. You said it was a kind of matchmaking service, right?
Yes.
To kind of connect, the appropriate trainers with training requests, right?
Yeah,
So
training
one of the
requirement
things,
request. Yeah, correct.
right? So one of the things we've actually discussed this on a previous episode. For apps and services, normally when you're starting the service, it's a chicken and egg dilemma, right? So
Yeah.
do you get, in your case, do you get the trainers first, or do you go and look for the clients first? What was your strategy on that?
Well, yeah, you're right. Actually, starting a marketplace or a matchmaking platform is one of the hardest in time. They're all hard. Starting a business is hard. Okay, let's start from that assumption. But
Right.
when you start an entity or a platform that has both sides, like you say, chicken and egg situation is
Right.
unavoidable, because you have to, in a way, offer a benefit to one of the two sides. And if you don't have the other side, you cannot really offer a benefit to the other user, right? So for
Right.
us, both trainers and clients, or both our clients, essentially, right? So sorry for the repetition, but
No
they are
problem.
both important part of the machine. So for us, it's really important to understand the benefit, but also keep improving the platform to make sure that both sides are equally happy, right? Without one, the other one will not really exist, right? So I agree
Right.
with you. There is this chicken and egg situation or problem, which all the multi-sided platform face. So what we did, because I was already from the industry, and so I already was partially connected with my previous pool of trainers and other trainers in the industry. So the idea was I started actually prior to the platform existence. I started already pitching to clients the idea.
Okay.
And mostly to get insight, get, feedback from them, to see if it's something could be interesting or not.
Okay.
This was after that was in 2017, which the platform was still in an embryonic stage. And then by 2018 we launched. When we launched in 2018, we already immediately went for trainer onboarding first. But at the same time, we were also looking for clients. So I think it goes hand in hand. You can't really. I mean, there are the strategies, right? I could have grown only the trainers for all Southeast Asia, for example, and then go into the client side. But I don't believe only in numbers game. Just building a trainer until you have 2,000 trainers, and then you have nothing to offer them. So I felt it was good to have first for also having some feedback on both sides. If you only focus on one and grow up to a big scale, then you have difficulty to change your platform moving forward. So I thought the best was to start with a small group. I mean, small, not so small. I think initially we already have 50 trainers after 3 months.
Okay, that's a good number.
And then after that, we start onboarding clients, getting feedback, getting new requests. And then from that, we start scaling up more trainers. And until last year, when we also start opening up to other countries. So we have trainers mostly based in Malaysia for now, but also from Hong Kong, from other parts of the region, and also from Europe. So I think because maybe I backtrack a bit, and please stop me if I go too long, because
don't worry. This is all about you, Francesco.
So what I was talking about, sorry, we were talking about the
Europe and
Europe,
yeah.
So last time, the idea for me was also to start straight away also with remote training, but I think the market at the time wasn't ready. So I decided to go more for face-to-face and facilitate the matching for face-to-face training. So in-house essentially. But then what I realized is also I wanted to bring more international trainers to the market. But then there was a clash with some of the clients preferred to have local trainers, or at least based here. And they wanted to see, I understand, So that was, so we kind of put that on hold temporarily. But now we are opening up because thanks to my international background and so I presence in various countries, also through friends and network, I intend to expand that to other countries, especially now we can do remote training, So people can come from anywhere and can deliver anywhere, essentially. So that has really opened up the platform to new horizon.
Awesome.
Very interesting.
So Francesco, so what do you think, some of the skills companies and professionals need to focus on upskilling, especially now, in 2020?
Well, it's not an easy question. Thanks for that.
While you're thinking of the answer, Francesco, we got a couple comments on Facebook Live, saying hi to you and welcome.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. So you're asking me to answer the question? You asked me to answer some other question on Facebook.
Oh, sorry. No. I'm just letting you know that people are saying hi to you.
Oh, thanks. Hi to everyone connected. Thanks for being live with us. So, well, I think for the skill set, right? So definitely there is a very big shift as we have experienced since 2020, right? The first quarter of 2020 was still before prior COVID and was still everything was, I would say normal, so soft skills was going as it is and so on. After that, there was a completely, standstill for a couple of months. And then we start to get back after the MCO was lifted last year. And then now again, back, the first 2 months of this year was already again back to the MCO. So things have been very unstable. And the clients, so corporation, I think they have now, especially this year, I see they are really climbing down on reserve because, while on one side, they are really aware of what last year happened and they are more equipped to, move forward. On the other side, they also know that this situation is unstable and it can be repeated. So they need to also think about what next, right? So on one side, they need to still keep the operation going. On the other side, they need to be innovative. So I would say in terms of skills, you have maybe one big chunk would be technical and also digitalization skills. So anything related to digitalization or anything related to also digital marketing, sales online, and related, because now companies that are going back in track, they need to really, increase their pipeline of sales.
Right.
Right.
So I think that would be an immediate need and an immediate ROI. So clients and corporations understand that that should be, one of the focus. On the other side, we don't have to forget that soft skills are still important. And like Josh Bersin was also defining in one of his article, he talked about soft skills not to be really soft, but to be the hard skills, so the reverse, right? Which I agree,
Right.
actually. Like soft skills are becoming more and more important because while technology is helping us to automate and to digitalize certain portion of our business, on the other side, we don't have to forget that we still deal with people, and this create how do you say space for us to really improve interaction. Like even this interaction that we are having is digital interaction, right? So if we are present in the same room, the energy of the room itself, is different. We are able to connect at a different level. But when you're in front of a screen, you need to really learn how to connect. So for someone, it's more natural than others.
Right.
But it's not always easy. I would say that it's very hard. So
it takes more effort.
It takes more
Yeah,
effort.
it does. Yeah.
So something like it's like cold calling now, digitally on phones and stuff like that is probably going to be more needed nowadays, right? Do you think so, Francesco?
Perhaps yes, telemarketing skills in a way that we thought it was, surpassed is not surpassed. I think even sales, is an evergreen in my opinion, but it also has changed. Maybe has changed the way sales now are conducted.
Right.
The way lead generation now are, created. So I think there is. Skills are there, like certain skills are evergreen, certain skills are more in trend. Let's say the digitalization and the digital marketing is definitely in trend, right?
Right.
Yep.
But soft skills like communication skills are not to take, or they say, not to underestimate. And even leadership skills in terms of how do you lead your team in a virtual setup, right? While now, I think after 1 year, everybody is very comfortable to be on a Zoom call. And I'm sure many companies that work from home still, they are now very organized in terms of arranging meetings, and maybe they have meeting back to back, from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m., right? But I think the other things to consider is the productivity and, the efficiency, productivity of those people. Are really productive? Are they really happy? All these things are keeping in consideration or not, So I think these are a few of the important things to consider. And some of the things that clients have been asking is like how to increase productivity working from home, how to improve the efficiency of the communication, even how to improve, on the planning basis, because things are keep changing. Like, many people, nobody likes to change, right? In general, nobody likes to change. Very small percentage. I'm one of the small percentage who like to change all the time, but that doesn't, usually reflect a majority of the preference. So I think that is something that people has to learn, how to keep changing, how you keep evolving, right? How you keep learning new skills or new knowledge, right? To keep ahead with the time, or at least, to be there, to not to be obsolete, right? So I think I wouldn't go into the details of the skills, but I think overall, I hope I gave you
Yeah,
enough.
you did.
Thank
It's interesting. You raised up a couple points. The you talked about the the skills and the things that companies are looking for, and you know you said the technical, the digitalization, the digital marketing, and everyone's kind of ramping up on that now. And one of the beliefs that I had around the middle to the 3/4 mark last year is I realized that the challenges that most of us are facing or were facing in 2020, after March, especially in Malaysia, after March. It's not that the pandemic, was breaking us, or it's not that the pandemic was making things not work. It was that it was already not working, and we just didn't realize it. And
Correct.
so it brought these things to the surface, and it accelerated the critical need to go online, to digital, the remote. And you said something interesting earlier. It's like, we weren't ready for the remote. We weren't ready for platforms like this prior to 2020. And the change was, we're more comfortable, being in this environment right now, right? And I'll share this with you also. Uh, I did my first webinar in 2007. My very first webinar I did in 2007. And since 2007, I probably did one webinar a month, or one, every 2 months. Uh, since April of last year, not including sessions like this, training sessions, yeah, almost 190
Wow.
sessions in less than a year. We're doing so many. It's like it's almost automatic now, right? But when we're doing things like that, you deal a lot with trainers, right? You're on
Mhm.
the ground with trainers and clients. You kind of mentioned the challenges that clients are facing. What do you think are the challenges that maybe clients and trainers are facing in this environment right now?
Okay, before that, if you allow me, I want to add the point to, hopefully we are
Sure.
within time, add the point to what you say about, being ready, right? Uh,
Right.
Last time when we launched EzySpark, after a while, I remember there was, the process in EzySpark is such that the client add a training request, and then trainers with a specific skill set, they can, bid and so apply with a specific training
Right.
program to them, and then the client will review, right? So once that happen, sometimes there could be not only one or two trainers apply, there could be 5, 6, or 8, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the client has to pre-select some of those trainers, right, and those programs. So ideally, what I suggested, because they were used to see the trainer face to face, right, and sometimes that, yes, is a great stuff. I'm not saying no, but in how do you say, inside of the efficiency, I wouldn't say it's the most efficient way to do things. So last time I suggested, instead of organizing a trip, they is 30, 40, 50 kilometers away for 3 people in 3 days, why don't we do
Right.
a video call, like, and then you can already pre-assess the trainers, and the one that
Right.
you don't like, reject with a reason, and the one that you like, you if you want to do an additional
Then do
meetup.
the face to face
And they
and
thought I was, no, this is crazy. We cannot do this. So what do you mean? I cannot? So now it became normal.
I
Now
like I like can you say that again, that this is crazy?
this is crazy. Like, I put a little bit of fake Italian accent
Yes.
that you see in the
Yeah, I
book.
don't think it's fake. It's tutti pazzi.
Hey. So now instead, for example, we had a Cambodian client that they had to pre-select among 15 trainers, and they did
Mhm.
the video call with
Yep.
after the 15, they maybe shortened to 8 or 7, I don't remember now, and they
Mhm.
did the video call with each one of them, which allow them to further select. And then
Mhm.
at
Yep.
the end, they did the final call with 1 or 2 just to further customize the training. So I think
Right.
this is fantastic. You don't need to
Yeah.
spend time anymore.
Right.
But now people, like you say, are ready to it because they've experienced it. They are
Yep.
comfortable with it. But
Yep.
maybe 1 year ago, before the COVID, or 2 years ago, wasn't the norm. Was like, what the
Yeah.
hell?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I wanted to add.
I mean, I
Sure.
think COVID kind of expedited and revealed a lot of things in a lot of industries, right? All these
Yes.
weaknesses that people didn't want to notice. They didn't want to face the elephant in the room, right?
Yeah.
But finally they had to, get over it. But speaking about that, okay,
Yeah.
Francesco, what were some of your challenges in 220, and how did you manage to, overcome them or deal with them?
Well, challenge into 2020, I think we can write a book.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we want to hear what you did.
No, yeah. No, I think okay. Our main challenge last year was because the beginning of the year was good for us. We are expanding in Cambodia, in Singapore.
Mhm.
We start to talk with Hong Kong. So it it was really going well. And then suddenly COVID definitely shut down everything. I remember still that we had training ongoing or training already booked and paid for, you know, people has to
Yeah.
travel overseas. And
Right.
suddenly the client was calling us, sorry, we cannot accept anybody, you know,
Right.
so everything went to a standstill. So
Yep.
for me, the period was, I was cracking my mind. I remember the first thing I did was also to engage, right? So it was to engage with trainers and to clients. So we organized something like this, like live webinar with
Mm.
with some of the trainers, and every
Mm.
week we were having one. I mean, I could have done more than that, but sincerely, it was very tiring at the time because I was still thinking
Yeah.
also what else to do. And but it was good. It was a good approach. But then after 1 month, I remember it was like, okay, wait a moment now. Where are we going with this? You know,
Yeah.
what are we doing? Are we really adding value? So you know, as an entrepreneur, also you always think what I'm doing has to make sense to the people that are, you know, using our service. If it doesn't make
Hmm.
sense, then we have to do something, you know. So at the
Right.
time, I remember I was like really cracking my mind, and I went to a 2 weeks break. I took like a proper break, and I start to read books and start to look at things under a different perspective to see
Hmm.
how to move forward, right? And
Hmm.
that allowed me to have a better understanding on how to move forward. But then, you know, so after that, there was what the period, what was September that we get back, or no, sorry, March, April, May, June,
August, around
around
like
August,
August,
something
wasn't
like
it?
that. So once
There
we
were
get
so
back,
many. I forgot.
Yeah.
You know.
correct. So after
Yeah.
that, get back, I remember we start to getting back with clients, mostly to reconnect, you know, to know, hey, how are you, you know, and
Hmm.
what's happening essentially. And we did that with some client, with some trainer, and things look like they're going back in track. But then again, we had another surprise. So I think
Yeah.
in terms of challenge, the main challenge was how to keep, you know, the business running and
Hmm.
the user happy. But at the same time, how do I think about, you know, because I need a bit of my time or my brain to just think of what next, you know, how we're going to
Right.
evolve
Right.
this. Which partially what we already thought about this before starting, you know, we are
Hmm.
talking about remote learning. We're talking about, you know, a different approach to learning that is the classroom learning, right? So
Hmm.
I think that is the direction that we have to go. But of course, I mean, to switch 360-degree in a couple of months is not that simple, even for a startup.
Yeah.
Okay.
So because you have, as a big company, you have different challenge. You know, as a big company, you have the challenge that we are too rigid, right? How do we are
Yep.
going to? We have so many people, we have so many processes. As a startup, you might have other problem. Could be resources, time. You know, they are limited. You might not have the right people at the moment or enough people. So how do you keep the the business running, but at the same time also evolving fast? So that
Yes.
was so I start to look around my ecosystem, and we start to create some strategic partnership outside the EzySpark, so with some other
Mm.
startup. And now we recently launched, because we developed with this other startup called Community. We developed together like a tool that allows clients to identify skill gap. So it's not the usual
Okay.
TNA, but it's more like focusing on the skills that the leader think, what the perspective of the leader on the skills of the team, and the perspective on the individual of the team. And then it's
Right.
going to be a comparison. And based on that, we give you know, insights to clients. And then therefore we link back this to the training that potentially could help to close those skills gaps. So this is one of the initiatives we have done in terms of, you know, how to move forward, essentially with partnership. So we create a strategic partnership, and we are also looking at a couple of new more because at the end of the day, I mean, we are not, like they say, the man is not an island, but in this case also, as a company, you should be able to work with others, especially,
Right.
of
Mm.
course, they need to be linked with you in terms of values, in terms of vision. But I
Right.
think once you find the right partner, I think it's a great things to work together, because you can reach farther and faster.
Cool.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah. Agreed. Agreed. So okay, you've been in the so-called training industry, on one side or the other for over a decade, right? So the what advice can you give to somebody? Let's say they have a certain skill set, or maybe they've been doing this for a while in their company or corporation for
Mm.
however long, and let's say they want to get into the training business. What advice would you give them? What's the first thing you would tell them besides don't do it, right?
Get a job.
I mean, don't do it, is for everyone that want to be on his own. Is don't do it, but
Yeah.
at the same time, if you are crazy enough, do it. Like.
Yes.
So I
Yep.
think it's a
And in
very
a different
rewarding.
country.
Sorry.
And do it in a different country,
Yeah, so it's
right?
more challenging, right?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That
No,
is
but I think
crazy.
it's also a very rewarding experience, apart from
Yeah.
all the challenge, right? So no, I wouldn't say not doing it, because I mean that is more on them to figure it out. But
Yeah.
I think I would say yes. Is while the industry is getting messier on one side and more crowded, and also there are a lot of new tools, a lot of new opportunity for clients, to go on e-learning, remote learning. So competition now is no more local, it's global. I
Right.
mean, more than it was before, right? So I
Yes.
think the first advice is to join EzySpark. I'm kidding.
No, I,
No,
I, I agree. I'm a member of EzySpark.
I know.
Yeah,
No,
I,
no.
I
But
agree.
apart from that, no. Jokes apart, the main advice is like to focus on two things. One, look at what have you done. What are you really good at? Because I notice sometimes some professionals, some trainers, they want to do everything because, of course,
Yeah.
you need to make ends meet, and you need to sell, right? But I feel that is not a winning strategy. I think it's good to focus on what you're good at. So if you know what you're good at or what you have been, so you have to analyze your maybe past background and experience. Best if you have practical experience in in the past that you can repurpose it and training other people so they can learn from you. So that is one. Second, at the same time, also is looking at what the market is requiring, because I mean, living off the memories and past is also not really useful if you can't really help anyone nowadays, right? So you have to have both. You have to have on one side an eye to the future and an eye to the current needs of the market, but on the other side, also a focus on what you're really good at and position yourself, in that niche. So, for example, if I look at Chris, I think he knows about
Good
sales.
looks.
Yeah,
Good looks.
of course, especially with his background. I know you choose on purpose. No, but I know that you are positioning yourself as a sales, right? Sales expert.
Right.
So to me, that is what stick to my mind. Although I have 300 trainers on the platform, I know that Chris is doing sales. You know what I mean? But some trainers, I don't know what they're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm also feeling bad because I want to help those trainers to really focus, on one side focus, on the other side could be maybe that they lack some expertise in terms of copywriting, they lack some expertise in terms of brand positioning. So I'm not saying everyone needs to know everything, right? But I feel the best would be to focus on what you are good at, or what would you like to be good at based on your past experience, and look at the market, what the market is requiring right now, and what do you think will require in the next 1 or 2 years or 5 years, right? So you can start building up new pipeline of training programs or any other program or intervention that you want to do. On the other side, what I can offer maybe as a EzySpark, what we can say is that we are open in terms of, if any one of the trainer on platform or they intend to join, they want to discuss with us, how to position themselves, or if they need any service, please let us know, because we have a network of people on board and also among us, in the ecosystem, and we can create, if there is a need, for example, for copywriting and fixing, outlines or profile, we are there for you. If we need a photographer or video editor, we are there for you. Of
Awesome.
course, I mean, some of the service we need to perhaps pay somebody to do it. But some of this, maybe you can talk to me and we can have a discussion and try to help. So that is what I can do. But the two things I hope they're clear: focus and then look at the market.
So, oh, sorry, go ahead, Chris. Go ahead.
Yeah. Can I add one more thing to that advice? And actually, this last part would apply to any business owner. Marketing. You know, you touch on the copywriting. You know, we cannot. A lot of trainers that I know, they tend to have this habit of, you know what, I'm an expert in, I'm the so-called expert in my topic. I'm going to sit here and wait for them to come to me because I'm the best at it, right? And you know, the flaw is you know, build a better mousetrap and they'll come to you, right? It doesn't work like that. And maybe it did 10 years, 15, 20 years ago, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work anymore, especially now. We must know how to market ourselves, right? And I have to tell you, Francesco, I've never heard of a platform, you know, you or your competitors, your competitors, I've never heard of a platform owner say, hey, you know what, join my platform and we'll help you, you know, with the things that you need help in. So I congratulate you on that.
Yes.
Awesome.
Never heard that.
Please, to be frank, like for me, maybe we haven't done enough. I'm sure we have much more to improve. I'm sure there are things that we can still do, you know, better than what we have done. So I'm not saying we are perfect, right? We are very far away from perfect. But I think if we want to create a platform that helps corporation, company, SMEs, and trainers are on the other side. If I don't have trainers on one side, so the portfolio of a user is not enhanced, is not ready to really provide
not strong enough
learning, then it's no point, you know, like then why am I doing this? You know, I just do this with 5 trainers that I believe they're very good and that's it. You know, I'll make more money like that and forget about everything. You know? But the whole idea was because I believe that we need to change, you know, the industry for the better. And I think quality of trainers is that. But of course, some of the trainers needs to improve certain things. That's why an umbrella organization can help to collect, you know, certain service, certain expertise, and then distribute this expertise across the board. Because yes, Chris might have specific connection in copywriting or in marketing, and he can get it on his own. But many people don't have, you know. Many people are just good. And I think as a trainer or as a consultant, you have to be good in your topic, in your area of expertise. And you have to keep evolving in that. So you can't be focusing on, you know, doing the digital marketing, doing the sales. Yes, you have to do it because you have to survive. But that shouldn't be your core, you know. So if they're already servicing the market, why don't you use that service, you know, and focus on what you're good at? Again, goes back to that, you know. It's like for us, you know, some of the tools we use are already existing in the market. I'm not going to crack my mind to create my own tools and things.
Right. You know, it's interesting you say that because every tool that I use personally, I didn't create. I took it from somewhere and then I applied it to my purpose. And you know, we don't need to create something new. We just need to be able to, we just need to know what the capabilities are of that particular tool and have it applied to us, right?
Yes, yes, I agree. And I'm sure that, you know, this sometimes maybe also is exposure. So, you know, one way, for example, I do expose myself more is also to have a group of we call it support group. So we have a support group made of other founders of startups, and we meet up every couple of weeks, and we share, you know, our challenges and also news or new tools, and that allows you to increase. So if it's something like this, for example, could be done maybe through EzySpark, we can do it. You know, it just maybe sometimes we need some. Perhaps I need to communicate more and what you're doing more with our trainers on platform and listen from them also what they really need. And based on that, we can create initiatives, you know, because sometimes I create initiatives that I think are good, but maybe are not really what they want or need.
What
so
the
I
market
think
wants,
also
right?
on my side to improve that, you know, so I welcome any feedback or any suggestion from the, you know, from the ground up for any user that we have in the platform. Actually, not ground. Actually, they're already up there. Sorry for it was the wrong terms.
Yeah,
Not
the ground, the rabble. the
Yeah,
rabble rousers.
and
Yeah,
plus I like that because I'm one of them. So if the more I
right,
have, the more is good, you know.
right,
Awesome.
right.
Hey,
Let
yeah.
let's do this. I know we're coming up to our timing already. D, if you have okay, D, you have two choices. All right.
Yes.
Depending on how nice Francesco was,
Okay.
and how much of an expert he is. So you have
Okay.
two choices. The first choice is we can ask him an easy question, or we can
Mm,
ask him a hard question. So
okay.
do you have the last question in mind?
There's no such thing as an easy question.
Thanks, thanks.
No problem. Well, actually, I do have it's almost like a two-part question. Is that okay? I'm gonna
Yeah,
sneak
go
one
ahead.
in there. Okay. Okay. So, what's the most common training request from clients, and what's the weirdest or the most funniest request that you ever got from a client? You don't
Since
have to say the names.
2015.
No names.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Unless
Well,
you can mention the names if you don't like them.
I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I
Um,
know.
Yeah.
I think in terms of what's the most common, I would say like lately, like because the last 2 months were kind of quiet, I would say, unfortunately.
Mm.
So I wouldn't say, I'm not sure if there is a specific common request, but I think what I've been seeing now that we are reopening,
Okay.
common requests are mostly related to what we discussed earlier. So how we improve work from home, how we,
Mm,
in terms of communication, in terms of efficiency, in terms of
Mhm.
productivity, and also in terms of well-being,
right.
uh,
Mm.
I've been hearing requests from the platform that talks about well-being. Essentially, how do you make sure that your people, initially it was a big why. You remember last year about well-being and about,
Yes.
how it's affecting us, but it still is. It's not that going away. It's like
Mhm.
there are still people affected by this, and because we are social being closed at home, it still have an
Mm.
effect on us,
Yes.
Right.
even for the introverted people. I'm an extrovert,
Yeah.
I need to see people all the time, but even for that introverted people is tough. So I think a few of these are the common requests, so work from
Oh,
home and related, and increasing efficiency and productivity, again for virtual team,
right.
and then well-being related topics. In
Awesome.
terms of the funniest, weirdest,
How to pick up girls, pick up boys, how to find a husband.
no, I have to say, like, we haven't have, being a platform, you expect that you can get anything out of the sky, right? So, but
Hmm,
maybe because of also the process of approval of the clients and everything. So
right.
we have to get very weird or funniest requests. I think I remember the weirder one was requested, a couple of requests that came in about either leadership or a similar topic,
Hmm.
but the price was ridiculous low. It was like,
Oh,
I think I remember it was like 200 ringgit. And I
okay.
remember then I pick up a phone. I usually, if it's clear, I don't do anything. But that time I was like,
Sorry, that's so funny to me.
Yeah, yeah.
200
I know. I was
ringgit
gonna ask
for
Francesco, is that considered funny or weird?
I don't know.
that's
It's
funny.
considered. I was shocked actually. I said maybe there is a
Yeah.
mistake, So let me
Right.
call this
Yeah.
person. And then I was like, I saw this request and you wrote 200 ringgit. Is it a mistake? You wanted to say 2,000 or 20,000? And the guy
Or
was like,
200 ahead.
it was no. I'm looking 200. I was like, I was. That for 200 ringgit, the train won't even move because you have to come there, you have to buy toll,
Yeah.
buy fuel, parking. Yeah, so essentially, you're telling him come for free, lah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Probably better off, right?
Yeah.
So
You
I
won't
think
insult
that
the trainer.
went completely haywire as a
Yeah.
request.
Oh my goodness.
I've had requests where they said, "Oh, you should do it for free because we're going to give you exposure." I said, "Nah, you know what? It's okay. I don't need that kind of exposure." Yeah.
Exactly.
You
But I
know.
think this is pretty common, right, in the industry. I think many people do that.
Yeah.
I mean, in where I was earlier, as I mentioned in China, the when we first started, it was almost when they didn't really have an HR team, and a lot of them they would do barters, believe it or not, you
They
know.
will do all barter. Okay,
Right.
wow.
So
Yeah.
if you had like a factory or a company, so instead of paying you cash, they would give you goods.
Wow. Okay.
know, right?
It
So,
depends
Yeah,
on the good guy, if it's a good
yeah,
car or
right,
yeah.
but yeah,
I've done deals like that in the U.S.
but nobody's gonna give
Yeah,
you like what, how many cars, like, well, let me see how many cars per head.
yeah. You know, one of the things I really regret, yeah, Francesco, is I think it was 2009. 2008, 2009. One of the regrets that I have, especially in the last couple months, is that I was asked to do a training program, and I think it was like 15 or 20,000 US, and this more than 10 years ago, and they said, well, instead of the 15K or 20K, whatever it was, right? They said we'll give you 200 Bitcoin, right? And I was going Bitcoin,
Chris,
I was going,
Chris,
no, regret. I started the story with regret.
Chris. At
Okay.
this moment, you might be millionaire already.
Well, I am already, but it would have been an extra 2 million USD, right?
You're right. You're
So,
right.
yeah. So, so one of the things I've learned is that, when Dee said barter, I said, yeah, I'll look at what they're offering. It doesn't
Right.
have to be cash all the time, but sometimes, because okay, I remember I was able to use a car for 6 months also,
Oh, okay.
also in the U.S. And so I look at the car payment, I look at the value of the car, and go, yeah, I'll drive that car for 6 months. I'll do the deal, you
Hmm.
know. So yeah, so it really depends on the situation you're in,
Right. You don't need a
and
This
you
goes
don't
back
need a
to being ready, right? You were not ready at
right,
the time.
yeah.
right,
You don't need a
right.
6 month supply of hair conditioner, right?
Yeah, no, I don't. Not me. Not me. I want to thank you for the things that you shared with us this evening, Francesco. It was
Yes.
really awesome. And one
Yes.
of the things I really liked that you said was the trend part, and we need to change. Um, for the people listening, please listen to Francesco. We cannot stay stuck in what we were accustomed to prior to 2020.
Hmm.
As we said earlier, the COVID didn't cause most of our problems. It actually brought it to the surface. So
Yeah.
it's giving us a chance to look at, it's kind of like how banks do the stress test of financial institutions. So we're being tested right now, and for those of us that are making it through, hopefully one day, soon, when all of this is over, we're actually going to come out stronger.
Yep.
And even the ones that didn't really make it, you're going to come out stronger as well.
Yep.
And I really appreciate the advice that you shared with us this evening, Francesco.
Yes.
I recognize the things that you said. They're the things that you share with us tonight, there is literally gold in
Hmm.
the hand. So
Yes.
I want to sincerely, deeply, appreciatively thank you for that, really,
Yes,
from the bottom of my
Francesco.
heart.
Thanks, Chris.
And
It was fun.
if you can give us a link, Francesco, like if there's any trainers out there who would like to join your organization or maybe need your support, we
Sure.
can post that up there, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
if you can mention it now, and then we'll post it in the replays on this for you as well. So if you're a company or a corporation that's looking for training, or if you're a trainer that has certain topics that you believe the market is looking for,
Mm-hmm.
please go on the platform that Francesco is about to share with you now.
Yeah, it's on www.ezyspark.com. Easy with a Z. So EZY Spark.com. And yeah, thanks, Chris. Actually, it was a fun session, and I also learned a lot from you guys. It was very interesting, and I feel like in terms of the change, I would say that if we don't change, we die, because everything that
Yeah,
doesn't change anymore, is going to die.
Right.
And instead, on the other side, if we change, we grow. And also, change is fun.
Yes,
it
it
can
is.
be. Yeah,
It's never, it's not easy, but it's also fun. It's,
But
it's
we
part
don't
of
we,
right.
the
we
life,
don't let our
right?
girlfriends hear that though, right? Our girlfriends and wives though, right?
And
Okay, you
that
know
one
what?
will
Speak
be
for
less
yourself. That
less
one,
fun
I
and more painful
don't
if they
involve
listen
me
to
in
it.
that stuff. Okay, because we got too many people listening. Don't
Thank you,
involve me.
Francesco.
Nothing to do with me, and nothing to do with Francesco. Okay,
Well, no, but
Francesco.
when our wives or girlfriends hear it, they're gonna say, "Oh, really? So change is fun, huh?"
Okay.
I didn't say that. I don't
I
know.
didn't say anything.
Only
Nothing to do with
offline.
me.
Offline we can talk.
Okay, put
Yeah.
it on me. I did it. I did
Yeah.
it.
Okay, guys. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. And thanks to
Thank you,
everyone that
Francesco.
was connected with us also.
Okay,
Yes.
awesome,
Yes.
everyone. We're gonna end the Facebook live stream right now, and we wish you a wonderful evening and blessings for all of us. Good night.
Yes.
Good night.
Be safe.